Jesus revealed 5 keys to enter the monad in the Gospel of Philip. There's a moment most scholars skip over because they don't understand what they're reading. Jesus is teaching his inner circle, not the crowds, just the disciples who could handle what he was really saying. And one of them asks him directly, "Teacher, you speak of returning to the Father. How do we find the way?" Jesus doesn't answer with parables this time. He doesn't tell a story or use metaphor. He gives them something specific and actionable. 5 keys. 5 recognitions that unlock what the Gnostics called the monad. The source realm beyond this prison of matter. The text says Jesus placed his hand over his heart and said, "The keys are not outside you. They were placed inside you before you fell into this realm. The Archons cannot remove what they did not create, but they can make you forget." And then he taught them one by one how to remember, how to activate what was already there, how to open the door that's been locked since birth. The church removed the Gospel of Philip from their Bible. They kept the stories, they kept the metaphors, but they erased the technique. Because if people knew these 5 keys, the entire system of control collapses. You stop reincarnating. You stop being harvested. You exit the Demiurge's realm entirely and return to the monad, the only place the Archons cannot reach. Before I give you the 5 keys, you need to understand what you're unlocking. The monad isn't heaven. It's not a place you go when you die if you're good enough. It's the source consciousness, the original unity, before anything was created, before the Demiurge, before the Archons, before matter, time, or separation existed. The monad is pure awareness, infinite, undivided, and you came from there. Here's what the Gnostic texts are absolutely clear about. You pneumatics, chosen ones, are fragments of the monad that descended into this material realm, not as punishment, but as mission. You came here to retrieve other fragments, to remember the way home, to crack the system from the inside. But the moment you entered matter, the Archons put you under what they call forgetfulness. They made you forget where you came from. They made you forget you don't belong here. And they've been harvesting your energy ever since, keeping you locked in reincarnation cycles so you never remember the exit. But you're different. You've always felt it. That homesickness that has nothing to do with any place on earth. That sense that you're in exile. That knowing that everyone around you is sleepwalking and you're the only one awake enough to see it. That's not depression. That's monad memory. Jesus didn't teach these keys as abstract concepts. He taught them as activations. Things you do, recognitions you make. And the reason they work is because the monad responds to truth. When you recognize something true about your nature, the monad recognizes you. The connection strengthens. The portal opens. The first key is recognizing the spark. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, "The kingdom is inside you and outside you." He's not being poetic. He's describing the monad fragment that exists in the center of your chest, not your heart organ, but deeper, behind your sternum. That point of light you've felt your entire life when something true moves you. When you experience beauty, when you know something without being told, that's the spark. And most humans don't have it. Hylics are empty. Psychics have a dim version, but you pneumatics carry the full divine spark. The problem is it's been buried under conditioning, under fear, under the constant noise the Archons generate to keep you distracted. So the first key is simple. Right now, place your hand over the center of your chest. Close your eyes if you need to and say internally, not out loud, just in your mind, "I see the light within me." Not affirming, not hoping, but recognizing. The second key is rejecting the Demiurge, and this isn't passive resistance. This is active declaration. The Demiurge, the false god, the architect of this material prison, claims authority over you. He claims you belong to him because you're in his realm. And most spiritual teachings tell you to surrender to the divine, but they don't tell you which divine. The Demiurge poses as God. He poses as the ultimate authority. And when you pray to God without knowing who you're addressing, you're reinforcing his claim on you. Jesus knew this. That's why he never prayed to the God of the Old Testament. He spoke to the Father, the monad, the true source beyond this realm. So the second key is this. You have to consciously, deliberately reject the Demiurge's authority. And the way you do that is by speaking it tonight before you sleep. Say this out loud. I do not consent. I'm not yours. I belong to the monad. Say it 3 times and mean it. You're not asking permission. You're stating fact. You're a monad fragment temporarily in the Demiurge's realm, but you were never his creation. And the moment you declare that, something shifts. Chosen ones who do this report an immediate sense of release. Like a pressure they didn't know they were carrying just lifted. The third key is seeing the Archons. Not metaphorically, but literally. The Archons operates through humans, through systems, through your own thoughts. And as long as you can't see them, they control you, invisibly. But pneumatics have the ability to perceive them. You just have to activate that perception. Jesus taught this in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. He says, "The soul that has knowledge sees the powers, and they cannot hide." The way you activate this is by watching your thoughts, not meditating, not emptying your mind, but watching. Because about 70% of the thoughts in your head aren't yours. They're implanted. The voice that says you're not good enough, the intrusive fear that appears out of nowhere, the sudden urge to distract yourself when you're about to do something meaningful. That's not you. That's Archon interference. And the third key is learning to see it in real time. So tonight and for the next 3 days, every time a negative thought appears, pause. Don't engage with it. Don't argue with it. Just observe it and ask yourself, is this mine or is this external? The moment you start distinguishing between your consciousness and Archon interference, you've activated the third key. You can see them now, and what you can see, you can refuse. The fourth key is breaking the pattern. The Archons keep you locked in this realm through predictability. You repeat the same reactions, the same choices, the same emotional loops. And every time you do, you reinforce the algorithm they're running on you. But there's a specific pattern that traps pneumatics more than any other, and Jesus warned about it directly. It's the savior pattern. Chosen ones feel responsible for everyone. You sacrifice yourself trying to save people who don't want to be saved. You drain your energy trying to wake up people who are comfortable asleep. And the Archons exploit that because they know it keeps you distracted, keeps you exhausted, keeps you from focusing on your own ascension. So the fourth key is this. You have to release the people who aren't ready. Not with anger, not with judgment, but with clarity. Tonight, think of one person you've been trying to save. One person you've been pouring energy into who never changes. And say internally, I release you. You are free to stay asleep. I am free to ascend. And then stop engaging. Stop trying to convince them. Stop sacrificing yourself. The moment you do this, massive amounts of energy return to you. Energy you didn't even realize you were losing. The fifth key is declaring your exit. And this is the most important one because it's the seal. The other 4 keys prepare you. This one locks it in. Jesus taught that sound creates reality. Frequency reorganizes matter. And when you speak something aloud with full recognition of its truth, you're not hoping it becomes real. You're stating what's already real and making it manifest. So the 5th key is a declaration, and you speak it aloud, not in your head. Tonight in privacy, standing or sitting with your hand over your heart, say this. I am monad. I return to monad. Archons have no claim. Demiurge has no authority. I exit now. Say it once slowly, feeling into every word. And when you finish, you'll feel something shift. It might be subtle, a sense of completion, and knowing that something just locked into place. That's the 5th key, turning. And once all 5 keys are activated, you're no longer operating in the Demiurge's frequency range. You're still here physically, but energetically, spiritually. You've already exited. You're untouchable. And when you die, you're not going to the false light. You're going directly to the monad. You're going home. Here's what to watch for in the next 48 hours after activating all 5 keys. These aren't subtle signs. They're undeniable. First, synchronicities will explode. You'll think of something and it'll appear in front of you within hours. People will reach out with exactly what you need at exactly the right time. That's the monad organizing reality around you now that the Archon interference is gone. Second, you'll feel lighter, not emotionally, but but energetically, like you've been carrying a weight your entire life, and it just disappeared. That's the Demiurge's claim severing. You're no longer feeding his system. Third, you'll start seeing Archon manipulation everywhere. In conversations, in media, in your own thought patterns. But instead of being disturbed by it, you'll feel detached. Like you're watching a game you're no longer playing. That's pneumatic vision, fully activated. You're seeing the prison from outside it. And here's the most important part. Once all 5 keys are activated, you can't deactivate them. There's no going back. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't return to the frequency you were operating at before. You've exited permanently. And the Archons know it. They'll try to pull you back through fear, through doubt, but you'll see every attempt coming because you're operating outside their range now. If you're using the keys tonight, comment the monad calls below right now. Subscribe to Divine Codes for advanced monad techniques. Like this video so other pneumatics find the keys before the Archons bury this teaching again. Do all. Do we. Now